Hello, everybody. It's the Worm, and I'm back with some more VLR. Last time we entered the lair of Lord Hoppington, rest in peace, and we have overcome the various challenges within, and now we're leaving. So, obviously, it was another escape room episode. So it is what it is. We decided to go with Dio and Clover this time, which is a bit of an odd team to have, I feel like. And funnily enough, I actually kind of enjoyed the dynamic a bit. It's weird how the dynamic so far has been Clover says something silly, and then Dio and Sigma just, make fun of her for it. So I'm not sure if that'll maintain itself now that we're done with the escape room, but we'll see. Just to reacquaint myself, this is the Tenmyoji trust route. This is the yellow route, but then the Tenmyoji trust ally route. So we've allied with him once, and now we're going with Dio and Clover. And so Quark got the Radical 6 disease a bit earlier, and we're going to have to deal with the aftermath of that. So let's continue on. Let's see what's going on here. Dio has something he wants to let us know.
There's something... I guess there's a couple of things I want to double check. Well, one of them's not really significant, I guess.
Huh?
First off, this machine.
Yeah, I kept trying to interact with it last time, but nada.
We didn't even end up using this thing, did we?
Yeah.
I was just wondering what it was.
Well, I'm not sure how I'm supposed to answer that. Look at the side here. There's a name or something. IG Replicator?
Replicator makes it sound like it makes copies of stuff.
So, it's like a copy machine.
Yeah. Probably copies IG, whatever that is.
Any ideas?
Who knows? Ice cream by the gallon?
Of course. This machine must be here so we can make all the ice cream we want. Are you nuts? You're one idiotic girl, you know that? In other words, NIG. Ooh. Sigma is just on the offensive today. My goodness.
Oh, good one.
But she takes it.
Hey, this isn't the time for stupid jokes.
No, Dio, I think it is exactly the right time for stupid jokes.
There's a helpless child back there in the infirmary who needs our help.
Oh. Well, fine. I mean, that's a fair point, but forgive me if I doubt your sincerity, Dio. He was right, of course. I hung my head in shame.
At any rate, as long as we don't know what IG means, we can't do anything with this machine, right?
Obviously, it means Imperial Guard. Duh.
That's right.
Makes
Why do you
sense.
think there's so many of them?
On to the second issue. Sigma, you found a journal in some sort of vial in the safe, right?
Yeah.
The vial. Could you show it to me again?
Why?
I didn't really get a good look at it before. You guys were in there so close I could barely see it. Was it really Excelivir?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, could we duplicate? Or, excuse me, that's not the right term. Could we replicate Excelivir? That would solve a lot of problems. As I spoke, I pulled the vial out of my pocket. See? It's written right there on the label. And you see it's in writing, so it must be true. Excelivir.
You really are an idiot. Although I guess in this case the G in IG stands for guy.
What? I don't... The words were barely out of my mouth when he moved. Uh-oh. Hey, that's mine. Before I could blink, the vial disappeared from my hand. Hey, what gives?
What are you doing?
Dio slipped the vial quickly into his coat.
Oh, don't worry. I'll keep it safe. I'll even give it back to you later.
No, not later. Give it back now.
I don't think so. If you want it back, you're gonna have to listen to my request.
Request?
Yeah, that's what I said. If you want this back, in the next AB game, you have to choose ally.
Ally? Wait, is that why you took the medicine? To blackmail me?
That's horrible! You're using Quark's life as leverage!
Well, I've got some really good reasons to do so. I'll be happy to give it back if you just do what I say.
I didn't realize until they started to hurt that I curved my hands into fists. Excuse me. If Dio would only give me an opening.
I wouldn't try and take it back by force if I were you. You make any sudden moves and I'll smash it.
He patted his pocket gently.
Oh, and one more thing. Don't tell those other idiots that you found some Excelivir in here. I hear one word about it, and the next thing you hear will be little bits of glass shattering on the floor.
Damn it.
That's not fair.
I mean, wouldn't Tenmyoji just try to kill him then? Or wouldn't we, tie you up? Or, I mean, once the duplicity is discovered, wouldn't we just... Because then Quark's death would essentially be on your head. So wouldn't we then, I don't know, tie you up, just knock you out, prevent you from being able to do anything because we don't trust you anymore? I mean, I feel like this is... I mean, it's a ballsy play, but I'm not sure it works, really. I guess just the play is... He's just so convinced that both Clover and Sigma would not risk Quark's life. He's so convinced of that we would never do anything that would, threaten that.
This game isn't about compassion. It's not about being clever. It's about one thing. How well you can manipulate people to your advantage. How unfair you can be. So, what are you gonna do? Ready to promise me you'll pick ally?
Fine. I promise.
Sigma!
I knew you'd say it eventually. I'm glad you understand how this works. But don't think about trying anything funny. Break your promise and... well, you know what happens. See you chumps later. I'm really looking forward to the next round.
With one last self-satisfied chuckle, Dio strutted out of the room. Okay, so the strategy is Dio's gonna have to keep us in sight this whole time, right? Because if we say we get K alone or something and say, hey, Dio's has some Excelivir in his pocket. He's threatening to smash it. We'll distract him and then you get him or something. So Dio's gonna have to be with us in order to make sure we don't tell anyone what's going on, right? So that's what I assume is gonna happen after this. With one last self-satisfied chuckle, Dio strutted out of the room. It's weird that he just left us in here, though. Okay, Clover.
Are you really going to do what he says?
I forget, are we the solo or the pair? I mean, presumably we're the solo, because that means essentially he's going to kill us, right? Because this is where we got betrayed by Tenmyoji, so we're at 1. I just forget if we're the pair or the solo. But I would assume we're the solo. Are you really going to do what he said? Yes. Yeah.
Sigma, you've only got 1 BP right now.
Yep.
If we choose ally, and he chooses betray...
Oh no, we're the pair. We're with Clover. He's the solo. Got it. Same thing. Makes sense. I know. I'll drop to a -1, and that means I'll get penalized.
But that means
Look, it's not like I want to, alright? If we don't do as he says, then he'll destroy the medicine. If he does that, then Quark will...
So you're going to die to save his life? That's... Why would you do that?
The thing that's... I'm supposing that this thing here could potentially make more Excelivir. That makes it all the more disgusting what Dio's doing here. In all honesty, I was terrified. My choice was far from a foregone conclusion. Well, we should get back to the upper floor. I mean, here's the thing. So Dio's just left us alone. If we could somehow, either Clover or Sigma, excuse me, we could try to signal someone, or just we need to somehow tell someone else what's going on. We should come up with a plan or something. Well, we should get back up to the upper floor. Everybody else is probably finished already. I bet they're waiting for us. I didn't wait for Clover's response. Curse you, Dio! And I was enjoying the dynamic so much. And now it's gone.
An ambidex gate has been opened. 45 minutes remain until ambidex game polling closes.
Alright, we got 45 minutes to solve this puzzle here.
Sorry, I went ahead and cracked it open a bit early.
Dio. In one of his hands was a moon key. He twirled it around like a veteran gambler, grinned, and slid it back into his pocket.
You don't mind, right? I figured you and Clover would get up here right away. Besides, I thought it'd be best to get this done soon before you lose your nerve.
Oh, the others aren't here yet?
I don't know about you, but I'm really looking forward to the next round.
Ugh. I glanced around the warehouse. Oh, here they are. Alice and Kay were back. As was Phi. And, of course, Clover. Where are Tenmyoji and the rest of them?
They're in the infirmary.
We carried Quark to one of the beds. Tenmyoji and Luna are looking after him.
I see.
How's he doing?
Well, it's hard to say. He seems to be sleeping soundly, but beyond that, there's really no way to know.
No changes, then.
Right.
So what was your room, Sigma?
A laboratory.
Is that so?
Did it look like the kind of place where they'd be researching viruses and DNA and those kinds of things?
Yeah, it did.
Was there any of that Excelivir?
Don't tell those other idiots that you found some Excelivir in here.
Yes, I just heard this.
I hear one word about it, and the next thing you hear will be little bits of glass shattering on the floor.
Is this a, Is this a more Eastern or Japanese thing? I mean, they seem to really want to make sure you get the flashback to remember this sort of thing. Or do they do it in, what would you say, Western games as well? I'm just trying to think. I don't think I've played any Western visual novels. Are there such a thing? I mean, I'm sure there must be. I've just not played them. But I feel like... It's like, I don't think I needed this little thing here. I mean, it's not that... it's not terrible. But yeah, my eyes flickered to Dio for a moment. I mean, that's all you needed, really. I don't think we needed a full little flashback scene. No, nothing. Besides me, Clover bit her lip. Like, yeah, okay, yeah. I keep thinking how, you know, Dio gets screwed if he destroys that bottle, and everyone realizes what he's done. So he's banking everything. I know I just talked about this, but I'm still going over it in my head. It's just, he's banking everything on the idea that Clover and Sigma just will not. They won't allow Quark to die. That's it. Beside me, Clover bit her lip.
I see.
So how'd it go with you? Find anything interesting? Fi only shook her head. With a unison of movement that almost looked choreographed, Allison K. shrugged.
Where does that leave us? We still got about 40 minutes left until voting ends.
What are you gonna do?
I'm a little curious about that lab you found. I thought I might go take a peek at it.
I'll show you the way then.
That would be wonderful.
Okay. Hang on.
I think I'll go have a look at the room Alice K. and Tenmyoji found. Never know. Maybe you missed something. Perhaps there's some Excelivir hidden somewhere in there.
Gah. What a bastard.
Then I shall take you there.
What about you two?
Okay, haven't we solved the problem? Dio's gonna leave us alone? So, Clover tell Alice, and we tell Fi if we can get her alone or something. This is... okay.
Where are you going?
Well, I think I'll start by heading over to the infirmary to see how Quark's doing.
Then I will too.
Glad that's settled.
Yeah, just go and tell Tenmyoji and Fi and Luna. Dio's leaving us alone. Then make a plan. We got 40 minutes or so to do this. She nodded to Clover and they disappeared through the magenta door. Dio and Kay followed a few footsteps behind. It's not like he's got listening devices everywhere. Come on. Okay then. Guess we should be going too.
Hold on. Show me that journal first. Dio told me about it. He wouldn't tell me anything about the lab except that you found a journal with, his words, some sort of bullshit language. You said you had it, so I was hoping I could take a look.
Yeah. One sec. I dug the journal out of my pocket and handed it to Fi. In your pocket? Must be a pretty big pocket, or a small journal, then. She began to flip through the pages, her eyes quickly scanning each one.
This is Latin.
Ah, and you know Latin, we know that. Latin? You mean you can read it?
Yeah, with time and a dictionary.
Oh, so in other words, no.
Pardon me for not being able to translate a dead language on the fly. This looks like some kind of research log. It's not gonna be some sort of, I took the dog for a walk today. It was nice kind of stuff. I can understand a little of it, mostly conjunctions and things like that. But most of these words I've never even seen before.
Fi started to leaf through the book again as she spoke. And suddenly she stopped.
Wait, I can read this one. Page 216. This isn't research notes. It looks like a personal entry.
What's it say?
Don't rush me. This is gonna take a minute. Interesting. All right, I think I got it. It looks like they're talking about Radical 6.
Aha. What? Why are they talking about that?
Not sure. Let me read it to you. Keep in mind I'm paraphrasing.
When the body is infected with Radical 6, the processing speed of the brain is reduced. So that's what that was in the control... No, not the control. The security room. When everything got real fast. So we got Radical 6'd? But aren't we a robot? How does that work? If we assume the brain currently operates on a one-to-one basis with regards to time, Radical 6 reduces that to 1 square root of 1/6? That's not square root. What is that? I do not know this. Something 1/6, or approximately 1 and 0.4008 eighths. 1 to 0.08. Aha. So roughly doubled, or divided in half. This means for each second that passes outside, the patient only feels 0.08 seconds have passed inside. Therefore, once 1 second has passed inside, approximately 2.45, or square root of 6. Again, I don't... Is that square root? I don't think that is. I thought it was just a straight line. 6 seconds have passed outside. In other words, when 10 seconds have passed in the real world, a patient infected with Radical 6 would only feel as if 4 seconds had passed. This is why the virus has been termed Radical 6. Ah, the 6. Yes, I see. Radical is another term for what is known as the root operator. Oh, so it is square root. Okay. Maybe? The function inverse to the taking of a power. In a less mathematical sense, it could also be used to refer to something that is extreme or severe. Yes. Double meanings. Nice. Those infected by Radical 6 eventually develop a powerful urge to commit suicide. Exact cause of this is unclear, and although there is as of yet no direct link between suicidal urges and the reduction in mental processing speed, many believe that they are not unrelated. Those infected with Radical 6 perceive the world to be moving at a faster pitch, as if it were a video cassette being fast-forwarded. For instance, although the patient believes that only 10 seconds have passed, in fact, 24.5 seconds have passed. Given this increased speed of input, maintaining the ability to observe and reason would become a Herculean task. One theory holds that the disparity in time perception causes the brain to be flooded with massive amounts of information. Unable to keep up, it begins to fail. Whatever the cause, the infected invariably attempt to take their own lives, which is arguably the most terrifying aspect of this virus. Research suggests that a targeted antiviral could kill or at least disable Radical 6, but we've been unable to develop one. It seems our best hope now is to harvest antibodies from someone with a natural immunity to the virus. Thus far, however, we have been unable to locate a suitable subject, so I have continued my efforts to discover an alternative means of treatment. Given my current rate of progress, I predict that I will have a workable treatment within a decade or two. It is my fervent hope that humanity will be able to survive that long. The bodies of those dead from suicide are piling up along the roads leading into and out of town. The entire area reeks with the stench of decay, and the sky is filled with constant buzzing of flies. At times, their swarm is so thick, when one passes it, it feels as if a cloud has gone over the sun. Every day I see more crows, and rats are everywhere, feeding on the dead. Ironically, the only healthy-looking creatures are the stray cats, who have grown fat on the plentiful rodent diet. The few humans who survived the outbreak have been locked away by the government in underground shelters. I don't know how many were saved, but I fear only a handful. Their survival is the only hope that remains for the human race. O Lord, please, let the future be a bright one. Yeah, so apocalypse stuff going on. Whoa, that's a lot of information. Now we know what the virus does to you, though. If you get infected, your brain slows down by the root of 1/6. That's what, about 40%?
That isn't the important part. Those infected by Radical 6 eventually develop a powerful urge to commit suicide.
Yeah, you're right. That would explain why Cork was, well, trying to kill himself.
There are 2 other things in here that worry me. First, the part about how they haven't managed to develop a treatment for it yet. What do you make of that?
What am I supposed to make of it? Maybe they just haven't found one when this journal was written. I mean, from what we know, there's a drug called Excelavir that cures it.
Exactly. But in the journal it says it might take 20 years to make something like that.
Hold on a second. I'm getting confused. When was this thing even written?
December 29th. No year.
Well, there's no way it was written this year.
Yeah, probably not. Anyway, moving on. The second concern I have is about the underground shelters it mentions. The newspaper article said something about quarantining people too. After we read it, we all thought the same thing. What if this was one of those quarantine facilities? But this journal seems to suggest the opposite. The few humans who survived the outbreak have been locked away by the government in underground shelters.
You're trying to say that this place might be one of those underground shelters? Which would mean we're all supposed to be uninfected. We would have been thrown in here to keep us safe.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way to say for sure at this point, but it seems possible.
But Quark's been infected, right?
And maybe the virus got in somehow.
That would be bad.
Just think about it for a minute. If this is one of those shelters, a lot of things start to make sense. Maybe we've been here for a long time. Like, maybe they put us to sleep somehow. Made us sleep for years, maybe even decades. While we were sleeping, the pandemic that the newspaper article talked about happened. And whoever had this journal made this entry.
And then, once the antiviral treatment was finished, they woke us up?
Right. It's all just speculation, but...
No, that doesn't make sense. I mean, it seems like a pretty plausible scenario, but we were all captured before the pandemic started, right?
Yeah.
And how would they put us to sleep for that long? How would they have known to do that? But most importantly, why the hell are we playing the nonary game if the point of this place is to save us? Throwing a bunch of people into a game that might kill them is a pretty weird way to protect them from a pandemic.
Yeah, you're right.
See?
We don't have enough information to make any real conclusions. I think we should see if we can find anything else.
Fi had barely finished speaking before she took off for the magenta door. Fi, no, we need to talk to you about something. Hey, weren't you coming to the infirmary with me?
Changed my mind. You can tell me about Quark later.
And with that... she was gone. Man. I let out a long, tired sigh and started off toward the infirmary. I really feel like we're missing a step here. How's he doing?
He seems to be stable, as far as I can tell.
Still sleeping.
I see. Mind if I have a look?
Please, go ahead.
I made my way around the partition to the side of Quark's bed. The journal and the thing Fi had talked about would definitely need to be addressed, but for the moment, the AB game was what I needed to concentrate on. Lives were at stake. Mine. And Quark's. Those infected by Radical 6 eventually develop the power to commit suicide. If the journal was telling the truth, then as soon as the anesthetic wore off, Quark would go insane again. What if we weren't able to restrain him a second time? What if he managed to kill himself before we got to him? Or perhaps he'd just get out of the infirmary and go hide somewhere. On the other hand, it wasn't like we could keep anesthetizing him forever. There was only one way to save Quark, and that was with Excelavir. Unfortunately, Dio had stolen it. If we wanted to get it back, Clover and I would have to vote ally. But if I did, there was an excellent chance I would end up dead. The question was, then, what to do? Sacrifice myself to save Quark? Or keep quiet about the danger he was in to save myself? I think there's a third option. But I'm gonna wait a second. It was so faint I almost didn't hear it.
Grandpa. Grandpa.
He shifted a little, then fell silent again. It was enough, though. What on earth had I been thinking? How could I even have considered letting a child die in my place? Sigma, I think... Okay, Okay, let's just finish this scene, and then I'm gonna put forth an idea, and then you guys can let me know, that's a stupid idea, how could you even think that, shut up, and you know, let me know, because I'm feeling we're really missing something kind of obvious here, but let's just keep going. Suddenly my cheeks felt hot with embarrassment and disgust. That I considered letting Quark die, even for a minute, was pathetic. There was only one choice. There had only ever been one choice. No way was I going to leave Quark to die. My hands tightened into fist as I looked down on him. Any uncertainty I'd felt before was gone, and I knew what I had to do.
10 minutes remain until Ambidex game polling closes. All players, please enter your votes. If no vote is recorded before the deadline has passed, any non-voting parties will automatically ally.
Looks like it's almost time. You two should head back.
What about you?
Not going. I'm worried about Quark.
But you're a solo. If you don't vote...
I'll automatically ally. I know. I heard the voice on the intercom just like you.
What are you gonna do if Kay and Alice vote to betray?
Nothing, I suppose. Just means I lost that round. I'd just be voting ally anyway. You know who my opponents are, right? Alice only has one BP left. If I pick betray and they chose ally, I'd kill her. I'm not so desperate to escape that I'm gonna kill someone for it. And even if I was, I can't leave Quark behind. You see? Doesn't matter if I go into the AB room or not. My vote's the same either way.
Tenmyoji's mind was made up. Trying to persuade him to leave would have been pointless. All right. Take care of Quark.
Of course. You worry about yourself.
Let's go.
Okay.
Luna and I headed out of the infirmary, leaving Tenmyoji and Quark behind. When we got out of the warehouse, we found everyone else waiting for us. Well, not quite everyone. One other person was missing. Hey, where's Dio?
Take a look at the doors.
They're all closed. When we came in here before, the one on the far right was open.
And that would mean...
Ah, that he went in, I guess.
Exactly.
That bastard. He'd probably been worried I might try and take the Accelerator from him by force, so he'd hidden himself in the AB room. That's definitely one way to get around it. What a coward. I made up my mind to choose ally no matter what, but part of me had still considered trying to jump Dio if he dropped his guard. Now he'd made sure I wouldn't get the chance to try.
Where's Tenmyoji?
Oh,
Luna explained Tenmyoji's choice.
I see. Well, I guess that means I don't have to worry about him picking betray.
right. What will you guys be choosing then?
Ally, of course.
Because my BP is 6, I assume.
Yes. As long as Tenmyoji votes ally, I can't choose betray. If I do, Kay's BP will go up to 9.
But what if he forces you?
Ha ha ha. You needn't worry. I would never do something so crass.
Really?
Of course.
Then you don't need to go in there.
Excuse me?
Alice can vote by herself, then we don't have anything to worry about, right?
Well,
Hoo-hoo-hoo.
I apologize, but I'm afraid I can't agree to that.
Oh, you can't, huh?
Why not?
I just can't. Shall we go, Alice?
Hey, hold on a minute there.
Kay continued briskly toward the AB room as if he simply hadn't heard Phi. Alice scrambled to follow him, perhaps concerned that he would lock her out. Only seconds later, they disappeared into the third room from the left. Yeah, that's gonna be something
Alice
to
is
watch.
going to be okay.
Well, there's nothing we can do now. If Kay told the truth, she'll be fine.
5 minutes remain until Ambidex game polling closes.
Time's almost up. Come on, Luna.
Right.
They headed off at a trot toward the second room from the right, and we were soon out of sight. Pardon me. They headed off at a trot toward the second room from the right and were soon out of sight inside it. All right, Clover. Time for us to go.
Oh, okay. Right behind you.
I sighed to myself and headed toward the leftmost AB room. Start that game, man. Start it.
What are you gonna do?
I don't really have a choice, do I? There's only one thing I can do. I'm going to choose Ally.
You can't! You'll die!
Well, you never know. Just because Dio told us to ally doesn't necessarily mean he's going to pick Betray.
Do you really think a jerk like that is going to choose Ally if he doesn't have to? No. No way! He's got 6 BP right now. If he picks Betray, then he'll have 9 points!
Well, what about you?
Huh?
You've got 6 BP too, right? If Dio chose Ally and we chose Betray, then you'd have 9 BP.
What? No, that's not... I didn't even realize that until you brought it up. I'm just trying to tell you that Dio is going to pick Betray. That's who he is.
And I'm trying to tell you that I've made up my mind. That's who I am. The only choice is Ally. It's the only chance we have to get that medicine back.
That's why Dio called you an IG. What makes you think he's going to give us the Excelavir, even if you do what he says?
Good point. Maybe he won't, but I can guarantee that he'll destroy it if I pick Betray. That's who he is.
Fine. If you aren't gonna listen to me, then I guess I don't have a choice. I'll be pushing that button.
Huh? Before I realized what was going on, Clover ducked past me and ran toward the voting machine. No! Stop! I snatched her by the arm and hauled her backward with all my strength. Hey!
Ow!
I think this is the first time... No. Besides us, we got tackled when we tried to go to the... Before we even got a chance to go to the 9 door, we got intercepted. But this might be one of our first interceptions, stopping someone from going somewhere else. Good work, Sigma. Sorry. Guess that was a little too hard, huh?
Hey! What do you think you're doing? You can't just throw a girl around like that.
Well, you're the one who tried to trick me.
But you're gonna die! Dio's going to kill you! You can't do this! I don't want you to die.
Ten seconds remain until Ambidex game polling closes.
Thanks. It means a lot to hear you say that, Clover. I gave her my best reassuring nod, then turned to face the polling machine.
3, 2, 1.
Okay. Do I want to stop here? I think I kind of do. Okay, let me go over my thoughts then. Okay, so this is the part where I give my thoughts, and then you let me know if what I'm missing, or if I'm crazy or stupid or whatever. So now obviously there was a spanner thrown into the works with the idea that Dio went into his AB room early, but we know he didn't start out there. He went with Kay to go check out the room they investigated beforehand, and left us alone with Phi and let Clover go off with Alice. Okay? I feel like before we even left the laboratory, Dio left Clover and Sigma alone. And at that time, they should have immediately begun planning. Okay? And the plan should have been, hey... Well, first of all, if Dio were smart, he should have kept us in his sight and within earshot until he got into the AB room, right? Until he got in there. He should have kept us within sight and within earshot. But he didn't do that, and that just seems silly to me. But So I guess if that's not a consideration, then the plan should have been, hey, we need to get somewhere out of his sight and out of his hearing, and then let people know that he has Excelivir in his pocket. Okay, and the game just handed that opportunity to us. Clover could have told Alice. We could have told Fi. We could have gone to the infirmary real quick and told Tenmyoji. And then we could have come back to the warehouse and waited to ambush him. And then the idea would be, we go back to the warehouse. We wait for Dio to come back. And, you know, maybe Clover or Sigma distract him, whatever. And then, whether it be Fi, Alice, or Tenmyoji, whoever we can get, maybe all at once, then we all jump him at the same time. Because I feel like the others, especially Tenmyoji, would be sympathetic to the idea that he's essentially holding Quark hostage, and is not only holding Quark hostage, but also intending to kill Sigma. I feel like the others would be sympathetic to that. I mean, Sigma even said, when we got told Dio was already in the AB room, Sigma said, "Oh, you know, I was holding out just for a sliver of hope that I could have jumped him." So he even had some thought of doing something like this. So it seems so strange to me why he didn't. Like, as soon as Dio walked out of the room and left us alone, I thought that was crazy. What? So, I don't know. Where's the flaw here? What am I missing that is making this not the thing you do immediately? I don't know. Like I said, I mean, we haven't had any evidence that he's got listening devices somewhere, right? I mean, I don't know. It just seems strange. It's like, I only have two options: Quark dies or I die. And I'm thinking, well, I think there's a third option, Sigma. You just chose not to pursue it for whatever reason. I don't know. It just for me, it feels like that's kind of undercutting the seriousness of this situation. Not the seriousness. No, not it. Just it's making me think the character, well, that they're just not thinking. I don't know. I mean, sure, I'd be nervous in this situation. My goodness. I don't know. As soon as Dio walked out of this warehouse, I would have told Fi immediately. It just doesn't make sense to me. Okay. Sure. Let's go with what the game wants. What Sigma wants. Sure.
Round 2 of the Ambidex game has been completed.
Okay, we will see the outcome of this decision next time. Definitely a pretty, a high-stakes episode here. And this has only been round 2, so I guess we'll see what happens next time. Maybe it's going to be something like, hey, we're actually a robot, so if we get injected with the stuff, we won't die. I don't know. Although, see, now that we know that Radical 6 is because it causes the slowdown or the speeding up of the perception we saw with Sigma in the security room, now it's a question of, okay, but he's a robot. How does this work? How is this? What does that mean? I don't know. Anyway, lots to consider. I've been The Worm. This has been VLR. Hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.